How do you sort out the so-called jargon from real-world practices that work? Do the members of your organization find some business or technology advice utterly confusing? Welcome to Real Talk with Sam Holcman. In this program, we set the record straight, and in terms that business people and technology people can understand. Now, here is your host, Sam Holcman.
Welcome to this edition of Real Talk. I'm Sam Holcman. Thanks for joining me in this particular broadcast. And the topic for this particular broadcast is, if you're an executive, a CIO, or a staff member, this broadcast is about the risk of over-reliance on enterprise architecture when using artificial intelligence. The over-reliance on AI in enterprise architecture. We all know that there's recent advancements in artificial intelligence, and they've been touted to result in dramatic increases in productivity and consistency throughout enterprise architecture practices. You know what's coming. However, our experience with our clients in the real world demonstrates that excessive dependence on AI-driven support, particularly in crucial decisions, can bring significant risks to business operations and strategic integrity. Like modern architects in lots of fields that you see out there on the internet and elsewhere, we looked at introduced AI into our methodologies in the belief that this will accelerate modeling, roadmap creation, and documentation. These platforms that we use generated architectures and models that were seemingly tailored to our specific client organizational needs, with rapid turnaround and really polished deliverables. Initial adoption centered on generating what we like to call boilerplate documentation, visual diagrams, and synthesizing what's generally referred to as so-called self-declared industry standard approaches, tools, and model conventions. Over time, success in peripheral activities bred overconfidence in us, and frankly in our clients. We began using AI to structure core architectures and design system patterns. Well, of course, something happened. An issue emerged after adopting an AI-generated service and event-driven design for our enterprise stakeholders' management platform. The solution performed very well within the controlled pilot environment. However, after extending the architecture and implementation to production scale, severe latency, data inconsistency, and infrastructure cost overruns like crazy developed, directly impacting business service levels. So we took a breath. A subsequent review by our chief architect revealed that the proposed architecture lacked alignment with existing legacy systems, compliance requirements, and business processes that existed in the organization. Core design elements drew heavily from generic industry internet templates rather than organization-specific needs. Our inability to justify certain design decisions also eroded stakeholder trust, leading to direct executive scrutiny. Well, what lessons did we learn? Contextual awareness is critical. AI platforms lack the holistic context required for true enterprise-level architectures, and, of course, their resulting designs. Patterns surfaced by AI do not account for organizational structures, legacy landscapes, compliance constraints, or internal risk tolerance. Strategic ownership is not negotiable with AI. Enterprise architects must be able to defend, explain, and tailor every layer of what we do. The inability to justify architecture trade-offs in executive forums especially undermines not only individual accountability, but also the credibility of the enterprise architecture discipline. Governance and standards cannot be outsourced to AI. AI can only support adherence to frameworks and best practices. It can't enforce governance or contextual decision-making. AI use and focus requires customization and integration with business strategy to be effective. And your business strategy is definitely not in the public domain. It is not on large language models that everyone else can use. So, AI can be an accelerator for documentation, discovery, and solution comparison. For enterprise architecture, however, final decisions and critical thought must remain within the human, practitioner-based enterprise architecture professional who possess deep enterprise architecture understanding, organizational context, and strategic vision. Real business value is delivered through engagement with stakeholders, rigorous governance, and adaptive designs, none of which can be delegated to AI. Executives and CIOs must ensure that enterprise architecture teams employ AI as an augmentation tool. Augmentation tool, not a replacement for responsibility, expertise, or judgment. Only then will enterprise architecture function as a true strategic enabler for the enterprise. What was the bottom line in this particular activity? AI did not almost get us dismissed from this assignment because it was malicious. AI isn't malicious. It nearly got us dismissed. Nearly, it didn't, because we stopped being real enterprise architects. Realistic, enabling, actionable, and logical. What we became is power users of AI diagrams, lingo, and enterprise hype. What's the difference? Enterprise architectures derive decisions from context. Prompt engineers and AI copy patterns mostly out of context. In enterprise architecture, context is everything. Without it, you provide just very expensive slideware. AI will not replace real enterprise architects. But enterprise architects who know how to use AI responsibly will replace those who don't. Be sure you choose wisely.
Thank you for tuning into Real Talk. Be sure to join your host, Sam Holcman, again for another edition of our program. We'll have more real topics of discussion then.